It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. I'm talking TV. I'm talking movies. I'm talking anime, cartoons, sci-fi, and fantasy. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the E.A.R Chronicles, where you're going to get my thoughts on TV shows and movies that I like. And like we've been doing for the last, 8 weeks, it feels like. I think, yeah, it's been 8 weeks. Yeah, it's been a couple months. We are still in our X Chat series where we're talking about X-Men 97. This week is no different. We have to get into X-Men 97, episode 9, part 2 of the 3-part finale. Tolerance is extinction. And if you thought last week's episode 8, was crazy, this episode here, I kid you not, it took it there. And a lot of people are saying it's better than episode 5. And while I don't necessarily disagree, I don't also agree, because 5 just hit here. So if you haven't seen my recap over episode 5, go back and watch that. Just because you need to understand where we were mentally when it came to episode 5. Remember it, because you need to remember it. So I'm excited to get into this episode. But before we begin, make sure you are subscribed if you're watching this. Subscribe, y'all. And make sure you're following me on social media at the E.A.R Chronicles on Instagram and at E.A.R Chronicles on Twitter. And turn on those notifications so you know when I have an episode coming out. And when I'm just tweeting. And please get in these comments. I want to hear from you. So please get in those comments. So to start us off, getting into it, and I won't be before you long, because typically I'm recording at night and I'm always tired. And I'm going to start yawning. Like, I feel a yawn coming up. See? You see how the devil busy? As soon as I get to talk, one yawn, I ain't been yawning. As soon as I get up here to record, here come the yawning spirit. So episode 9 starts off. Storm's back in the intro. Storm is back, y'all. She's back. New episode intro with the new outfit, the new hair. So super excited about that. So that lets us know that she will be in this episode. Then we get into the episode and we find out that the Prime Sentinels are actually still alive. So when Magneto did that worldwide EMP, they didn't die. He just shut them down. So they're all just like frozen in time, essentially. And I wonder, excuse me. Ooh, this is bad. All this yawning. I wonder if their their mind is still on. Like, are they still processing like what's going on, what's happening to me, and they're just stuck? Or are they just completely just like mannequin challenge, frozen? I want to know it. I want to know that. I really, really, really want to know that. And so we find that out, which was very intriguing to me. Then we see this angry mob of humans attacking Jubilee and Roberto. And here comes Storm and Forge showing up to rescue them. And then at the same time, we see Magneto. He is donning his OG outfit, the purple and the red, putting his helmet back on. And I'm not gonna say nothing else about this yawning. Y'all just gonna get it. I'm so sorry. And so he's donning the new outfit and helmet, and now he is raising Asteroid M from the water. He's pulling it up. Asteroid M is back. Okay. And then we go back to the expansion, or what's left of it anyway. And Scott and Charles are arguing. Scott is basically not happy with the professor. And he's like, why would you give your stuff to a madman anyway? You know Magneto's capable of all this. Why would you entrust him with everything? And he's like, Scott, he's just bitter. He's been through a lot. And these people, these humans, keep bringing this side out of him. And Scott ain't really trying to hear it. Cyclops don't want to hear what the professor is trying to say. And so he's just like, I don't understand these decisions that you're making, Professor. And Xavier is kind of like, you know, I made the decisions that I made, like turning over the X-Men and everything to Magneto, is for you, Scott. So you and Jean can have your own life. Y'all are my first students. And I know deep down that you're going to keep finding yourself back here, just like I did. And I wanted you to be able to choose you for once, pretty much. And Professor Hatter, that was good because he mentioned that Cyclops, Scott, look where you are now. I knew that if we did realize my dream of mutant peace and mutant inhuman peace and all of that, fighting for this dream, that you would never stop doing it. You wouldn't allow yourself to enjoy that dream coming true. And that's why I did what I did. So it's fair, but no, we ain't trying to hear that, Professor. Professor reaches out his hand to Scott. Scott walked right past him like he didn't see him. He's like, y'all see something? Because I didn't. I thought it was cold-blooded, but he deserved it. He deserved it. Because how dare you go out there philandering in space and then leave us down here with the foolishness and only want to come back when stuff is bad. Yeah, no, not fooling with Charles. Not doing it. Then Rogue wakes up, y'all. Finally, she done slept for 40 days and 40 nights. And she thinks she's dreaming. Nightcrawler tells her, like, no, you're good. Trash survived. And she said, did Remy? No, Remy did not, baby. Remy's gone. But Magneto did. Magneto survived. Any thoughts, Rogue? Any thoughts? And so then we see Storm being reunited with the rest of the X-Men. They come through the little broken doors of the X-Mansion, and Storm sees what a mess it is, okay? Jean rushes over to her and greets her sister. That's her sister, okay? And then they start talking about the damage that Magneto did, right? How what he has done has significantly damaged the Earth's magnetic field. And Storm even says that she can feel it dying even now. And they also mentioned that they have 12 hours left to live, or the world has 12 hours. And I'm like, what does that even mean? What is that supposed to mean before the world ends? Because he pretty much sent them back to the Stone Age, to the Dark Ages, with this worldwide blackout EMP bomb that he did. And they want him to fix it. And so Charles believes that they can reason with Eric, Magneto, and that they can get him to change his mind to fix it. And Wolverine, like, he ain't fix it. That's Magneto we talk about. He is not, just because we asked nicely, you think he about to change it? No. And Wolverine is right, because he's not going to. Magneto ain't trying to hear nothing Charles got to say. He's pissed with him, actually. And so they mentioned that. And then Forge talks about how they can come up with, is it important? It's really not. I was just going to mention how Forge's leg was still working and Beast was intrigued. And he was like, oh, because I, outfitted it to be resistant to, any electromagnetic pulses and influences or whatever. But anyway, so Beast and Forge believe that they can come up with some way to undo the Sentinel upgrades and cut off Bastion's control. And so that's what they're going to be working on in the meantime, while they figure out if they can or cannot convince Magneto. And so in this, Charles, is talking about Magneto and how if we can take out Bastion, then Magneto will know that there's no longer a threat to the world, which is what he's concerned about. He's a concern for the mutants in the world. If we can convince him that it's okay because we take care of Bastion, Magneto will take over and undo the damage he's done. And Roberto clocking Xavier, he's like, oh, okay, so this is the same man that you gave your school over to, and this is who we're gonna trust. He can be reasoned with, right? This is the one. And he's not wrong. He is not wrong. And then so we figure out that this Beast and Forge have come up with this mnemonic scrambler, the same or similar thing that they used with Jean when she was taken over by the Dark Phoenix. And so they also, Storm comes in, she's like, impress me. Tell me what y'all done did. And so they're explaining it to her. And then they also mentioned that they could potentially use neutralizer technology to cut him off from his powers permanently. Boy, when I say she cracked the thunder and lit her eyes up, and she's like, you basically telling him, you better not say another word about no neutralizer technology. Okay, I don't even want to hear that. Don't even speak it. How dare that even coming out of your mouth? And they're like, no neutralizer technology. Bet we got it. Then we move on. Rogue is outside, and she's hurt. She's lashing out at the professor because she's like, you didn't even know Remy. If you would think of us more as people and not students, you would understand how much he meant to us and who he really was, because I don't think you really know him, Charles. You act like you know everybody, but you don't really know, because you don't ever get to really know people on a deep and intimate level, is what I really felt like she was trying to tell him. And he's like, I'm sorry, Rogue. You're right. No, we don't want to hear that, Charles. We ain't got time for that. And in the midst of this, Magneto comes through the skies crack open. The northern lights are showing. There's lightning everywhere. And Asteroid M is in the sky. And so is Magneto. And Magneto pretty much, he comes down to really rip Charles a new one, which is what he did. Pretty much told Charles that everything that happened is his fault. Because low-key it is, because he said, I followed your dream, Charles. And following your dream got thousands of people killed on Genosha. And Charles was basically like, Magneto, please just undo what you did. He's like, can they undo Genosha? I'll wait. Didn't think they could. Didn't think you had an answer. So I'm not changing nothing. I'm not fixing nothing. So they got to live with the consequences of their actions, the humans. And so he talks to Charles about all of that. He talks about Leech. Poor Leech. He's like, I promised the boy that he would never have to be in fear or worry about what he used to worry about based on your promise. And he believed in me. And look where we are, Charles. He believed in me, and I believed in you and your dream. And look where it's got us, walking down your path. Now he messy for saying we've all gotten here because we walked down this man's path. Now he this man. He ain't even Charles. He's just that man, this man. And now Charles can't walk. Gonna talk about something when we walk down his path. Patty. Okay. And he basically is like, you know what? I'm here to offer a new paradise, a new Genosha. Come with me. So he's recruiting. Rogue joins him. She's like, I'm doing this. I made a promise in Genosha that I wouldn't, that I would lead mutant kind into a new future, a better future. So I'm going. And Storm tries to stop her. Like, Rogue, we are your family. And she like, you weren't even there on Genosha. None of y'all were. Kurt was there. Kurt, could you speak up, please? But she just starts ripping him a new one, too. Like, who else has to die for you, Charles? Pretty much. Jean, been there, done that. Oh, does it have to be Nightcrawler? Is it gonna be Sunspot? Who's next? Because it seems like everybody is dying for Xavier's dream, but Xavier's not the one having to die. He's not the one getting hurt. So why should we continue? Then Sunspot decides to give up being with the X-Men, and he decides to follow too. And Jubilee's like, but what about me? He's like, I'm sorry. My mom turned me over to the Sentinels and they collared me and she let them. No, I'm done. I'm not dealing with that. So he leaves and joins Magneto. Then we see Cyclops and Cable having a little moment, little dad-son moment. They bonding, they talking. Cyclops is trying to get Cable to understand that he knows Jean is not his mom, but that she cares about him, and then he knows weird and all of that good stuff. They just having a little bonding session. And then he give him a new outfit to put on. He obviously makes the connection, you know, the little quip about the black leather. A lot of people were going up about that because, you know, they said something about that in the original X-Men series about, you know, Wolverine talking about, oh, yellow spandex, you know, so they trying to give some correlation and some overlap between the series and whatnot. So it was a nice little callback. In the midst of this, President Kelly and Charles having a conversation, and he's like, Magneto protocols existed for this purpose right now. And we can't let this happen. And Charles is like, please, President Kelly, please let me just give me one, please, basically give me one more chance. I'm gonna do right this time. And he's like, listen, Charles, I'm gonna let you do what you say you're gonna do this time. But if you fail, my hands are gonna be tied. And he's like, we have 12 hours left before the end of the world. You're gonna need me and my X-Men, but if you don't trust me, trust them to get the job done, to do what they need to do when the time comes to save us all, because they're the only ones that can do it. Ain't no wrong. And so after that, the team split up: blue team, gold team. Gold team, Storm, Forge, Jean, Beast, Cable, Morph. They're the ones going to Muir Island, where Bastion is, and they're going to shut Bastion down. Blue team is Xavier, Wolverine, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Jubilee. And why they send Wolverine to go fight Magneto, we don't know. They did that. Why? Silly, foolishness, crazy, asinine, but they did it. Because they know Wolverine gonna do what needs to be done when the time comes. That's one thing y'all know. If you know me, I am not a Wolverine fan, stand nothing. I am perfectly fine with him being on the sidelines in the background, pushed off to the side all day, every day, because them claws don't move me. They don't. But I do know Wolverine knows how to get the job done when it needs to be done. So it comes a reason as to why he's there. But anyway, we get Gold Team. They're headed to Muir Island where they've arrived. Bastion connects with his technopathy to his Sentinels, putting them online, the big, juicy, bulky ones. He's controlling them. Sends them to attack the jet. Storm gets up. She's like, no, don't go. It's an army out there. And she's like, listen, sister, I thought about you while I was away. My sister dealing with her darkest past or her darkest fears and the worst times of her life. But she emerged a survivor, a phoenix. I don't know why I'd be trying to change his voice like that. I was like, ooh, phoenix? Did somebody say phoenix? Fire turkey, as some people call it. And it was a beautiful moment. They hug each other, and Storm is telling her, like, what's changed? Things change. They stay the same. But we can't rely on our gifts. We can't rely on a dream. But we must rely in each other. Family. And Jean is like, okay, I'm with you, girl. Now make them mind your weather. And Storm says, and them weather your mind. And then we get our piano music. Storm creates this tornado vortex with lightning in the air to distract the Sentinels, while Jean and the others go down on the ground to find Bastion. In the midst of this, the Sentinels that Bastion put online, they're also on the ground as well. And so they start attacking the team. Morph turns into Hulk. So come on, Hulk cameo. Don't really care about the Hulk, but it was a really nice little cameo because then Jean used her telekinesis to throw and launch the Hulk to spin and knock out all these different Sentinels and turn them up to pieces. So that was really good scene. But then out comes Sinister. Why did nobody account for him? Y'all knew that Sinister was working with Bastion. Why would he not be on the island with Bastion? Nobody thought about that. Nobody thought to be like, what if Sinister is also there on the island? What should we do about that? I think they just forgot about him. And it kind of cost them a little bit, huh? Yeah, it cost them. And I'm going to get into how it cost them just a little bit. And so Jean and Sinister get to fighting. He gets to talking crazy. Like, I know you, Jean. I know your genes. And I know your weaknesses, your strengths. And then he goes on to say, I know when I switched you. I can tell you if you ask. Sinister, I'm about sick of you. I'm about sick of you. And Jean was sick of you too. And so they going head to head. He dodging, she dodging. He knock her through the wall. It's like, oh, Jean, girl, get up, sister, get up. And then she gets up and she tell him, you know what? I don't even care about these games you trying to play, Sinister. Me and Madeline, we fight together. Now we're fighting together. She's with me. We are one. And she started launching these balls, the bowling balls at him, bowling pins, launches the almost a juke joint, the jukebox, and knock him out. Takes him out. So shout out to Jean, stepped up, baby girl, knocked him out. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Because I guess I didn't care. But before they stepped out, y'all, they got new costumes, whereas really they're in their older costumes. I forgot to mention that. So obviously we know Storm is back in her classic black. Cyclops is back in his full covered face outfit. Jean is in her green skirt dress thingy, her Marvel Girl outfit with the yellow gloves, which people don't like. I don't think it's that bad, but they hate it. Rogue is in this green and white tracksuit. Wolverine is in his brown suit. So, and then Morph turns into, he has these little things with these little pads. Jubilee got the little black suit with her yellow jacket, the same black outfit that she took from the mall when she ran up the credit card. Period. She ran up the credit card at the mall with Roberto. So we had that. And even he had a new outfit too. So I forgot to mention that outfit change because that was huge for a lot of people. Another funny thing I will say is that when we saw the mannequins with the outfits on it, why did Rogue, Storm, and Jeans have wigs? And so everybody was like, wait, so are they wearing wigs this whole time? Or what? I said, no, don't do that to them in these wigs. The mannequins got wigs, y'all. But it was funny. Some funny discourse about that. So I thought that was funny. I have to remember to mention that. So back to the fight. So after we see Jean mop the floor with Sinister, amen, then we get to the blue team taking on Magneto. And we're kind of like, how is this gonna turn out? There's really only one way this can really turn out. Either they're gonna be successful somehow and get him to change, or somebody gonna die. And so Charles, once again, Magnus, please reverse it, please undo the damage. We need you to do it. And he's going on and on and on. And Magneto's like, you know what, Charles? I've been wanting to tell you this for the longest. Shut up. And then slams a piece of metal over his mouth. In the midst, you got Jubilee and Sunspot fighting each other, and blows for blows. Wolverine is tussling, tangling with Rogue. Nightcrawler dodging metal. Cyclops shooting at Magneto. Charles is playing. He telepathically contacts Scott and Cyclops, and he's like, if we can't get him to agree willingly, I'm going to have to take over Magneto's body and use his powers to undo the damage he's done. So take off his helmet. If you can get out his helmet, get his helmet off his head, I'll do the rest. And so then they switches back to the gold team on Muir Island. Not Muir Island. In the Galapagos. Muir Island is where they went for the Dawn base, y'all. I'm so sorry when they got the new outfits. And so the Galapagos Islands are where they're at. And so Morph is pretending to be Sinister, like, Bastion, X-Men, the X-Men are here. And Bastion ain't falling for it. He like, Sinister will be the last person to come here try to warn me about something. He's that much of a snake. He gonna take care of himself first. So Morph gets himself snatched up, loses the pneumonic scrambler. Beast comes in, picks it up and tries to do it. Bastion captures both of them. Storm and Forge are still in the air. Forge is in the jet. It gets shot down. Storm is trying to use her powers to stop the him from falling into the ocean. She gets shot down in the middle. So the jet is crashing somewhere. She in the ocean, Lord, swimming with the fishes. Hopefully, well, we know she ain't gonna be dead, but she knocked out in the ocean, child. And then Jean stumbles. Well, she didn't stumble. Sinister still here, clearly running his mouth, right? And so he's like, I just needed you to bring me something anyway. And now that you've done it, I can move on with my plans are. Whole time they fell into his trap because he wanted Cable, and Cable was there on that mission. Remember, Cable was there. Yeah, Cable had got knocked out earlier by Sentinel, but now he's back and he's under Sinister's control. Sinister's diamonds on his forehead, and he starts attacking Jean. Yep, and so she's blocking him, and she's like, "Cable, wake up! Sinister's controlling you like he did your mother. You gotta fight this." She breaks his gun, and he was like, "You know, my mother was a world-class telekinetic, just like yourself. And things don't skip a generation like that. Things like that don't skip a generation." So he like, I don't need no gun. He channels his telekinetic powers and starts attacking her with a wave of telekinetic energy. And she's just shielding it. And in the midst of her shielding herself, she contacts Scott. And he's like, I love you. I said, oh, they get ready to kill her too, huh? And sure enough, his blast overwhelms her and she's gone. But in this moment, I was like, she was only defending and not actually attacking back. Because we all know from last episode, she feels something for Nathan. And even though it's not her child, there's a connection there. And so we knew she wouldn't try to hurt him at all. And so she was just more on the defensive. And that's why she allowed herself to be overwhelmed. Because I believe, and a lot of people will believe, that with all of this foreshadowing with the Phoenix being in the intro, Storm into the Phoenix, that she's going to come back as Phoenix. And that is how we're going to see Jean back as Phoenix. Phoenix is coming back and she's going to help undo and fix everything that is wrong. So that happens. Then they see, and Scott sees all of this happen. He's like, no, Jean, no, Nathan. Anyway, so back on Asteroid M, Wolverine somehow gets a hold of Magneto, and then Magneto flings him off, but he also takes the helmet with him. Charles takes over Magneto using his powers, and it's obviously pretty painful because Magneto's like jacked up, right? But Scott stops him, shoots Professor. It's like, no, the goal team need more time. We can't turn them back on, because if you undo what Magneto did, if they undo what he did, and the Sentinels come back online before they stop Bastion, that's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a serious problem, actually. So Scott's like, no, the gold team need more time. We cannot turn the world back on just yet, even though all these people are dying. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands, if not millions, are dying. And Xavier's, what have you done, Scott? And Magneto's pissed, right? So he just unleashes this magnetic blast that sends everybody, including Rogue, slams him into the wall, locks him up. He takes his helmet, smashes it on top of Xavier's head and squeezes it, then grabs him and holds him up by his neck. And I know Xavier's because he's all crushed up like his head getting crushed like cornbread. And Magneto's like, here go another little quip. Oh, how funny that you now have the metal, not metal, but mettle, the metal to do what's necessary. But you're a traitor to your own kind because you did all that. You doing what's necessary against me, somebody who's trying to benefit mutants and mutant kind. But you gonna turn against me? Bet. Now I'm gonna end all of this. But then we hear and that can only mean one thing. Somebody got stabbed. Wolverine snuck up on him, stabbed Magneto right through the stomach, right through the chest. And he whispers to him, I don't know if he whispered, but kind of like whispering, he's like, and the brave always die first. They're always the first to die. And Magneto's like, this feud of ours is finally over. And Magneto does the unthinkable, the unspeakable. But apparently he's done it in the comics. What everyone knew was getting ready to happen. And here go Charles Magnus, please, for the love of God. And God, like, how am I getting this? Don't put me in this. Magneto splays Wolverine out and snatches the adamantium right out of his body. takes it smooth out, ripping it from his skeleton, leaving Wolverine all types of twisted, mauled, gnarled, and bludgeoned, and a mess. And it was gruesome, like very macabre if you saw it. So Disney is really giving Disney Plus. I mean, they gave it to us, the series. They giving us blood. They giving us death upon death. I mean, it's not mature audiences, but it's definitely mature content than the OG series. So, and I'm here for it. I am here for it. And so, y'all, that's what happened on episode 9. I went through it. I got through it pretty quickly. I mean, pretty quickly. Another great episode. So much happened. So much happened in so little time. And I can't wait for this last episode, which I will be back to cover, obviously. So make sure, again, notifications are on because we will be diving into this last episode. But y'all, my mouth is just open. It's on the floor still. Gold team is down for the count. How are they going to stop Bastion when Storm, the Omega level mutant, is in the ocean? Jean, the other Omega level mutant, just got vaporized by way of telekinetic energy from her stepson, but actually is her genetic son, but not really her son. What are they gonna do? And that is a problem in and of itself. Cable is being controlled by Sinister. That is a problem. So I don't know, y'all. And then obviously they on Asteroid M, right? Magneto just demetalled, declawed Wolverine. The world is still in the Dark Ages. Bastion is still operational. What is about to happen? How are they about to end this and wrap this all up? I don't know, but I'm ready for it, whatever it is. So that concludes my episode 9 recap. Giving this episode 8.5 out of 10. I'm giving 8 out of 10. I thought it was a really, really, really great episode. I would have liked to see more Storm. I was going to advocate for more Storm. So I did not like that she got one shot into the ocean. But overall, wonderful episode. Great dialogue. Like Magnus was eating them up. Okay, Eric Lensher Magneto was eating them up and made all the points. All the points. Like you can't even deny it at this point. He tried. Magneto tried to do right. He tried to walk the straight and narrow, and time again, the humans failed him. They failed him. So I don't really blame him. What he did was wrong, absolutely, but can't blame the man. Charles keeps trying to call him bitter. No, he's just tired. He's tired of the foolishness, tired of putting his trust in humans who can't be trusted. So, once again, Magneto was right. Ear Hustlers, thank you so much for tuning in. If you made it this far, I appreciate you like no other. Please make sure you are already subscribed if you made it this far. And if not, do that. And please tell your other nerd friends who love X-Men, anime, cartoons, sci-fi, and fantasy to get themselves over here and subscribe to the E.A.R Chronicles because we got plenty to talk about. And speaking of what I have coming up outside of X-Men, I am going to do a quick review as well over Blood of Zeus Season 2. So if you are a fan of that show, please make sure you catch up because Season 2 is out and it was good. So I will be here to talk about Blood of Zeus Season 2. It was so good, y'all. So good. And also over the weekend, I went and watched Kingdom of the Planet Apes with one of my really good friends, and we enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really good. So I think I'm gonna also do a review on that. So I got some other content in the works for y'all. So I'm not just a one-trick pony with the X-Men gig. Like X-Men is gonna be a thing, right? So even after this ends, I will do some recaps about X-Men content, but I'm also going to be doing the Blood of Zeus content, the Kingdom of the Planet Apes. And also, I think I'm gonna dip my toe in the new Doctor Who. I'm gonna see what it's about, and if I like it, then I'm gonna come back and talk about that as well. And I'm almost done with the Vampire Diaries. And so, once I conclude with season 8, I think I'm gonna just do an overall review of the series as a whole and my thoughts on that as well. So stay tuned, stay tuned, please. Don't hold me to when this is gonna get done because your boy is busy. Life is crazy, but I'm gonna find the time to do it, right? And because I owe that to y'all. I owe that to y'all, and I'm excited to do it. So enough of me rambling. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the E.A.R Chronicles, and I look forward to seeing you all later this week or next week for the new content I have coming out. So until next time, your boy is out.